up, really gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Yo, set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 So life ain't easy, yo, I think there's a reason though. Ups and downs, just like every different season, yo. Sometimes I'm high, other times I'm barely breathing, though. I always gotta fight and hide from the demons, yo. Negative thoughts are poison, they rot. Head full of flaws, so here come the clouds. They'll never stop unless I can swap all the bad for the good in my head when I'm lost. Yeah, so I'ma fake it till I make it. Positive thoughts are overtaken, I got patience. One day at a time is how you operate a cadence. A flow, you grow, you show yourself a foundation. Stay away from all the shit that causes temptation. I know that I like to do it cause of sensation. I live my life in my head like a narration. Don't expect greatness, do my best, man, I'll take it. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Wake up, really gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Summer Wells went missing on June 15th, 2021. She disappeared from her home at 110 Ben Hill Road in Hopkins County. On her 2-year milestone, we placed this banner on the side of the road. Since she went missing, she hasn't been heard or seen from again. While I was visiting the area, I saw Don Wells working on his truck and asked him if he'd come down and speak to me, which he did. Don Wells and I had a conversation about his daughter Summer Wells and information related to her disappearance. Don Wells maintains that somebody came on the property and took his daughter away. He still believes after all this time she has been abducted. His family came under heavy scrutiny, but they've maintained their innocence. One thing Don Wells told me is that they have no new leads into anybody that could have been responsible or is responsible for the disappearance of his daughter Summer Wells. Many people across this country want to know what happened to Summer Wells. Where is Summer? If you have any information related to the disappearance of Summer Wells, you are asked to call 1-800-TBI-FIND.
Summer Wells went missing June 15th, 2021 and hasn't been seen again. We are in the backwoods of Tennessee. We are here on Light Hollow Road. We're a little further down the road than we once were. We're just checking out this area. This is one area that we never really researched or really searched during the last 2.5 years that we've been covering the case. We followed this case from the very beginning to find out any information related to Summer Wells, where she may be, and who may be responsible for her disappearance. It has taken us on a almost 3-year journey here in Tennessee, Hopkins County, Tennessee, as we search for answers. This is where we heard Candace Bly was the day that Summer Wells disappeared. Where is Summer Wells? We are searching for any information leading to the whereabouts of Summer Wells. If you have any information, please call 1-800-TBI-FIND. Five-year-old child's missing and he likes to play games.
He had 7 alibis and she had none. She's going down. My thing is one person only needs one alibi, the truth. Him explaining himself like, I got 7 alibis. Who needs 7 alibis?
We're going to call Don Wells right now. He says that he can't join us in searching for Summers.
That shows right there that could possibly be deception. I think Candace has a hand in whatever happened in this home, and I think Don covered it up if in fact he was at work at the time she disappeared.
Making excuses. We're in town. We are the only people that's actively searching for Summer. And he does not want to meet us. He knows we're here. He's finding excuses not to meet us. So,
Don, it's Molly Golightly. I know that you guys know that we're in town, and we just want to find your daughter.
After the witness came forward about the violence that goes on in this home, it's just hard. It's hard to believe that she left this. I don't think anything happened to her at the water hole. I think she died right here on this mountain.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Get breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.
Well, good morning, my beautiful coffee beans. It's nice to see you this wonderful morning. We have a lot to kind of go over with the Sebastian Rogers case. However, before we get started, I just want to make sure that we're leading up. Tomorrow is the 3-year milestone for Summer Moon Utah Wells. Excuse me, I'm getting tongue-tied with these 4-word names. And of course, she hasn't been seen or heard from since. We've seen a lot of very odd behaviors from her parents, much like what we're seeing over here. You know, with Chris and Katie, we definitely have some problems here with this case. And as we approach the 3-year milestone, it's hard for us not to think of Summer and what she went through in that home, the lifestyle she had to live in her 5 years, her 5 short years of life. I say it just like that because she's another one that's never been found that I truly believe is deceased. And I truly believe she's deceased at the hands of her parents. I keep always bouncing around to the theory of, you know, an accident when it comes to Summer. And the same standard applies with them as the Proudfoots. And the fact that I feel like if it was an accident, normal people call 911 and try to render aid to their child. Whenever you start hiding and being deceptive and lying about things, it's not because you're scared. Because nobody gets in trouble for accidents. Children have accidents all the time and lose their life, and parents have a lifetime of grief, but they're not in jail. So this idea that because your child is in your care, that all of a sudden you're going to jail, we all know that's not true. But yet we try to give these people excuses as that being the case, and it's just not. So we have some problems here. Obviously,
there was a neighbor that finally came forward. First of all, I've been adamant that Chris and Katie barely have any friends. Good morning, by the way, y'all. There's too many people in here for me to go through and say hi to everybody. We will say hi to Carrie. Carrie was one of the first people that came into the chat this morning to say hi to Bullhorn Betty and chat, followed by Kathy, Southern, Sheena, Manic Mama T, Lisa B. Always, Pale Rider, Carla, Reach for the skies. Oh, I like that. Reach for the sky. Crystal Pistol, Crystal Bun, I Spy. Everybody else that's in here, my mod squads, good morning. When it's just a few people in here, we can kind of be a little more sociable. But when I have this many people, it makes it quite difficult to tell you guys all good morning individually. So just a blanket good morning to all my beautiful coffee beans and the people that are hiding in the bushes. And good morning, TGIF. We made it, right? We walked into Friday like, what? We made it. We made it. We're here. We're here. However, you know what? We have a child that's not being able to celebrate his last day of school for the week, or summer break anyways, but you get my drift. You get my drift. We need to have Sebastian here, and he's not here. So we got some problems. And here's the issue. I laid out a very damaging case last night. Now, obviously, it's not something obviously, law enforcement has everything that I have. Okay. It's obvious that they have this stuff. This stuff was turned over to them. It's not like it was new stuff. It's new stuff to us, but it's old stuff to them. But it really kind of gets you a little more upset because you really see the gravity of what we can find. And we know law enforcement has more than that. And they've ghosted the public, and they failed to do forensic findings of the home. Even with all this information directly coming from their home, a dog tracking the light sources that were moving about. Lisa B sent me something. I've got to look into it. That it's possible that the dogs weren't tracking Sebastian's specific scent. I've got to listen to it and get a good understanding on it. But there might be something else there. But I wanted to throw that out there. I haven't had a chance to review it just yet and digest it just yet, but we will. The problem here is we have the tracking that literally tracked. Which one is this? Real Facts. The light sources that we've been seeing in those videos that were leaked. I think they were originally leaked by I keep calling him Brett. Nick Barris. They were leaked by Nick Barris. And as you see, this is the path of our light source that we were seeing coming from that camera. So it's very, very weird for me. And then somebody says that down here at the end, there's a bunch of trees and shrubs blocking this off. I don't think that's the case because it looks like it's a very clear, defined road here. And so when you have plants, it's very hard for it to be trees and shrubbery, but it doesn't really matter. I'll find out conclusively now that we have all of this. We're packing it together. When I get into town, obviously I have a good understanding of what I believe happened and can follow some tracks now. I have tracks to follow. I have somebody's movements I can now follow. And when I get there, that will help and aid me and guide me throughout this. Oh, hey, Miss Harmony, it's nice to see you. After last night's interview, it really changed my theory about that he was lured. Yeah, but you know what? This is what's going on with it. First of all, this lady, if you listen to her, she hasn't seen Katie or Chris in forever. She hasn't talked to them in years. She's talking about stuff that happened 8 years ago. And I just find it awfully funny that when I was listening to her, you could hear she wasn't speaking from knowledge. When she was guessing, she was truly guessing. She was making her opinion based upon information that she was apprised of 8 years ago. So I have a problem with that. And here's the other thing I have a problem with. I have a problem with the fact that in this particular situation here, we have this statement. Chris and Katie have not come out to dispute this. They've never had problems disputing anything else on these social media platforms. But the way he was person makes me think he maybe spoke to someone. I would have presumed, and we did look in that theory, And I have to think that with law enforcement having all of their digital stuff, if they really thought that this child was lured, I mean, you have to go back to Chris's own statements. Chris said when law enforcement looked at his data, his was one of the cleanest that they've ever had, that they've ever witnessed. And he says he keeps a tight ship and keeps it locked down. We also have to have opportunity for him to meet people. If he's not meeting people online, which it doesn't sound like he had a whole lot of actual online time, he would have to meet the people in person. The only place he could meet the people in person would be at school, in my opinion, because he is sheltered. He doesn't get away from his parents. He's not out of his parents' sight or custody or control. Even when the parents go to school, or go to work, we know that he's most likely in his room. He's not a normal, he doesn't act normally like normal children do. You know, a 15-year-old child might have friends over, right? They might be trying to get into mommy and daddy's liquor cabinet. He was alone many hours to go online. This is like hyperbole. Like we're trying to force it to make sense. We're in my opinion, we're trying to make it make sense. We're trying to make it make sense. This lady's statements are from 8 years ago. She has literally no knowledge of what has been going on or transpiring in this household, in this family, or their behaviors in years. She even acknowledged that she hasn't spoken to Katie in years. This is the only person that they've been able to have come out and speak on their behalf. We used to take 1 ounce out of the cat. Oh, I know. I will tell you, when we were younger, this is probably going to get me in some trouble, but I'm going to tell you guys a story. Okay? Very lovely story, of course. You know, they're all the stories, the fun stories come from me, right? So, you know, once upon a time when my parents divorced, you know, I told you that the game we played, hey, mommy, I'm going to daddy's. Hey, daddy, I'm going to mommy's. You know, that's what we did. But this one, we were actually at my dad's house, right? And it was my sister. It was one of her friends. And of course, it was, you know, my parents were going through a divorce. So my dad, you know, the Irish stallion the man is, right? The Irish stallion the man is, he wanted to go out and, you know, find him a girlfriend, you know, go out and hang out with the guys, you know, go out drinking and leave his daughters at home as semi-adult. We were teenagers. We were old enough to know better, right? But he has a liquor cabinet. And I remember we were all there. We're just horse playing around. And then, of course, my older sister gets this wild hair up her butt that, you know, we need to start drinking some of the crap in that liquor cabinet. And so it was a double dog dare this and a double dog dare that. And the next thing you know, hey. And so we're like, you know, Dad's going to be home soon. We better get in bed before we're in trouble. We're going to be in a lot of trouble. Angela's like, oh, you need to get upstairs. I'm trying. Get up the stairs. I'm going. You're pushing me. So I'm stumbling over and I'm trying to moon her, you know? So I'm pulling my britches down to moon my sister because she's getting on my nerves as I'm trying to crawl up these damn stairs to go to my room. And right about that time, my dad comes around the corner. My sister's drunk on the stairs. I got my britches halfway down to show her to kiss my booty. And my dad comes around and he's what the hell is going on here? Leave me alone. He should have been home hours ago. What the hell's going on? I went out for a couple hours and come home and you guys are like this? You're grounded. You're grounded. The problem was, I think my dad forgot we were grounded the next morning because he was about as drunk as we were. Oops. And trust me, we didn't tell him. We didn't remind him. Maybe he remembered and didn't want to remember. I don't know. I'm sure he never wants to see that again. I had a full moon too. Oh, the good old days, right? So we all, you know, at 15 would do this. This is not this child. This child is a loner. He doesn't really, I mean, he wants friends, but Also in 8 years, let's think about what's happened to him in 8 years. In 8 years, he stopped going outside without his shoes. Why? Because as he was growing up, the things that bothered him, like him stepping in an ant pile, he mitigated that. So now his brain knows that if he goes outside without shoes, his feet could fill up with fire ants and hurt really bad. So he puts those on. How many other of those things have happened along his way in that 8 years that this lady has not a clue that he's changed behaviors because of an incident? She doesn't know because she's not there and she's not in his life. I have to trust law enforcement, Seth, and both Chris and Katie, that this child wasn't lured away by an online predator, because that's what they've said. And I have to trust that, because to be honest with you, their words are what I trusted when I gave my analysis. I don't believe that this boy walked out the door. It was because of all their words about him. And I have to think that if there was a possibility of him being in law enforcement really having, because let's face it, online stuff, whether we can track it to a person or not, they can see it online. And they've tampered down, law enforcement specifically has tampered down, as well as the Proudfoots, this abduction theory. And I don't see that they would be doing that. They would be pushing the abduction. The whole purpose of the Amber Alert is to get this out to further people. So I don't think that they're going to think that it's an abduction and then tamper it down. It doesn't make good logical or good policing sense, just in my opinion. And I get why people think that, but this whole narrative that was driven last night on this interview was just that. It was a narrative. Here's why I say that. Because whenever you were talking about it, they were talking about Sebastian. We know Seth had nothing to do with this. Everybody here that's attacking Seth attacks Seth, and then on the and then says, "Oh, by the way, we don't believe it's him. We think Katie did something." So why are we still focused on Seth? And that was the narrative being driven. I just dropped a bombshell last night, and they're wanting to talk about Seth. Seth. It wasn't an online predator that had a lighting phenomenon inside their home. It wasn't an online predator that turned Sebastian's light off in his room. It wasn't an online predator that keeps constantly changing their story. It wasn't an online predator that told the neighbors that they fell asleep on the couch. They got up, they were in the kitchen, and at 11:30 they heard a thud. And they asked their son about it, and their son says, "I'm okay, Mama, go to bed." And it wasn't Chris. It wasn't Kate. It wasn't Seth that lied about the timing of the couch. It wasn't Seth that lied about these phenomenons coming out the back of their house. It wasn't Seth. But yet this whole entire conversation was again targeting Seth. But the one thing I can say about the person on the phone, or that was being interviewed, she wasn't on the phone, she was on the panel, was that she didn't really engage. You could tell she was a little bit about Seth, but she didn't totally dislike him. And I felt that in some respects, even when the panel was trying to have her drag this man, she would not do it. She kind of explained something, and I want to further explain something to everybody. If we truly believe that Seth also suffers from autism, then I want to let everybody know that you guys have been making fun of and destroying not only a victim of a crime, an innocent man that has lost his son, but one that is disabled to boot. And I just want to point that out to all the hate channels out there, how they have hurt a man that may be medically, have disabilities himself. And maybe that might explain some of his behaviors that they've been mocking and trashing. I'm just saying. And then I just want to say something. I did something that I didn't ask permission for, because I do what I do. We've been raising money for Jen Santinello for over a year. We've been raising money for other victims of crimes throughout the entire process of their child, to help them with attorney expenses. We know that there's a lot of legal expenses that are going on for Seth right now, especially with these cease and desist letters. Those things aren't free. There's a lot of things that aren't free that he needs financing for, and of course I wanted to do it all, I was just going to do it under my umbrella here on the Bullhorn Betty channel and turn it over to him. But I know that gets a little hairy. Like even this stuff, like it's hard trying to calculate this stuff. I'm calculating, I'm taking pictures, I'm sending it to Seth. So I'm doing like a doc, like a drop if something comes to me to him once a day. So it's not all day long. It's just one fee that he'd have to pay if he wanted it instantly or needs whatever. And so we've done food trains, we've done coffee, money. We've done a lot for all these families. And for some reason, this particular man, we're not allowed to do it for. So anybody that comes over to my channel and tells me what I need to be doing with myself or my channel, I want to reiterate that it is a privilege to be a part of this channel, not a right. Just because you're here and you conversate doesn't mean that you have a place here. So I expect you to be respectful of me, respectful of the people in my chat. If I choose to do something and I choose to be nasty, this is my channel, I will do that. But I expect my audience and the people that support me to maintain their stuff, So whenever you come here and you're disrespectful, I have zero tolerance for it. I block you. I don't go to my block channel. I unblock people. I'm not doing it anymore. I don't care if I have 2,000 blocked people in there. You guys can create a new channel. You know how to do it. I'm not ever unblocking the people that are being blocked right now. I will never go to my blocked spot. I will never unblock you. So I want you to understand that if you do not want to create a channel and you ever want to be a part of the Bullhorn Betty channel ever in the future, you better check yourself before you walk in here. Because I travel the country. I'll get the clicks and the views no matter what. I know that about myself. I'm confident. I'm not being egotistical or anything like that. I'm being confident because I know my abilities. So I'm done with the drama on this. I will do as I damn well please, and I will raise money for any damn family I choose to raise money for. And if you do not like it and you put a shitty comment, prepared to be blocked and never unblocked. Watch what you say. There are consequences here on this channel for your bad behavior. If you don't care, it's no skin off your butt. But if you do care down the future and you want to email me and tell me I'm blocked, I'm going to say maybe you should have watched your bad behavior. Create a new channel, and you can be angry with me at that time. I will not tolerate disrespect from the audience. That is a healthy boundary I have set for this channel, and I will maintain. People think you cannot control your chat. You absolutely can control your chat. I only want people here that want to be here for the victims. If you're not, if you're a gaslighter, I don't care for you. I don't care for you. So we're done with this stuff. I will control my chat. There will not be drama here. We will remove the drama immediately if it is. And that's how we roll up in here. And that now goes for every single one of my platforms and every single one of my channels, pages, and groups. So we have had this kind of breaking for us for social media. It's kind of breaking information, getting it all finally put together and packaged up for it to finally make sense. And I have to tell you, Miss Harmony, I really did look at this abduction theory. I did. There's no way I want to ever think a parent can hurt their children. I would so much rather be looking for an unidentified person than a family member, me personally, because it breaks my heart that, it just breaks my heart that children don't have a mom like I have. It breaks my heart. So I did look at the abduction theory, but I have to apply the light phenomenons in the house and the light phenomenons outside of the house and the mysterious car and the lies and the deception and the multiple changes of stories. We've watched the multiple changes of stories play out. We don't get that from normal parents. We get that from people that have something high. And I truly, truly, truly do believe Katie and Chris have a hand. Katie definitely has a hand in what happened to Sebastian. Now, some people are saying that they truly believe that this child could be, out of school. Let me just clear this up for you guys. If this child was out of school, there's no crime in that. Chris and Katie lying to law enforcement and the FBI is felonies. So they're going to take a non-crime and turn it into felonies. I just want to put that into perspective for anybody. I don't think that's what we're dealing with here. I really don't. Is it possible? I'm going to say yes, it absolutely is possible. I'll take that path. Yeah, yes, there is a possibility. There is a possibility. But I think it's going to be hard because I have to believe that law enforcement has access. I have to think that, law enforcement in 3 months has been able to track probably all of them at this point with their phones or other things. I feel like they would have a good timeline for each individual person: Katie, Kathy, Terry, Chris, Seth, Aunt Melissa, Dara, their kids. I think that at this point, 3 months in, they should have a good timeline and a good idea of where their movements are. I have a funny feeling they're going to find gaps in Chris's timeline on his phone. I feel like Chris has turned off his phone several times during this, that when he doesn't normally do that. I think they're going to find that in the data as well. Thank you for bringing awareness to Sebastian and Seth. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Well, we appreciate all the work that you do as well with our kids. And you sound like a great teacher. So I love Seth and Sebastian. We do. And we're going to keep wrapping them with our love and the support of this channel. And that's another thing. When people start intimidating me or trying to pressure me not to do something, if you want me not to do something or you want me to fail, that's the last thing you want to do. Because when somebody intimidates me, it pushes me to do harder. So for example, when they're trying to intimidate me not to raise money for Seth, it makes me want to raise even more money for Seth. I mean, I'm just that type of personality. Like, don't tell me what to do. So, and every time they keep pushing us, we keep everything that's supposed to destroy this channel has only built this channel and made this channel stronger because we are a God-friendly channel. We believe in God. God wraps this channel with armor. And I have to say, I really, truly believe this shows you that God is real, because I have been under completely, utterly trashed on this channel. Things that were done to me should have destroyed me and my channel, and our channel is still thriving. So I do believe in the power of prayer. I do believe that God moves mountains. And I truly believe that God has his hand in this case too, because this is a case that should have never made it this big. But something in this case grabbed us and brought us into this case and put a kibosh on the lies that were being perpetrated. This mom and stepfather, to me, seemed like they just wanted this to be another 15-year-old missing person child, no big deal, nothing to see over here, and hide him forever, and nobody would have ever found out he was truly gone until he was unearthed. And knowing Chris and how diligent Chris is, it's going to be very hard for me to believe that this child is going to be found. And that's what's bothersome to me. So I'm trying very hard to really understand who this is. Hearing these stories, another thing that really kind of upset me and made me realize the lady on the other end of that statement, they're friends from years ago. She refused to acknowledge that Chris and Katie were having an affair. And she absolutely knew Chris and Katie were having an affair. She absolutely knew why there were so many problems in that home. And she absolutely was not willing to be forthcoming because she was scared she was going to make her friend look bad, because she also had a narrative. I do believe the majority of what she said, but she knows damn good and well Katie and Chris were bumping uglies. Think about it. She was probably questioned about Chris so much. Remember, she said one statement that kind of solidified it for me, that she never even knew Katie was married to him. or that they had gotten married. It seems like something was going on they didn't want anybody to know about. And she divorced her husband and got married to Chris. But see, I believe that this lady that was in the Navy would have known this. She knew about Chris, she knew about Seth, but she wouldn't be honest about the fact that Katie and Chris were dating. And so that tells me that, she'll cover a little bit, not much, but she'll cover her friends that, but this far late in the game, but she made a statement. She made a statement. I do too, Kat. I'm dealing with my own home wrecking bitch right now. So believe me, I get it. I get it. I get it. I get it. But you know what? Karma's coming to her because, again, look who she's dating. I'm good. I'm perfectly fine. People will see. I'll just sit back and wait until the chips fall where they need to be, and then I'll be right there to capitalize on it again. Because that's what I do. That's what I do. So my question is, why do we think that this group that's been sitting here trying to protect Katie and Chris this entire time, we have this bombshell information that breaks, we kind of put it all together and walk through everything with you guys, and they bring on a friend of Katie's that she hasn't seen in years because she got no recent friends to talk to, right? We know that. She has no recent friends. Again, a lady that's speaking from what's happened that long ago. A lot has happened. A lot of things have changed. I was talking to somebody and they're like, this stuff hasn't changed me. This hate hasn't changed me. And I'm like, I said, you're better than me, because I can tell you, I know from where I was 3 years ago, almost 4 years ago, and where I am today, the hate has changed me. It has. I was a bright-eyed, doughy girl that just wanted to help, and I just got went into the freaking meat grinder and came out pate, It has changed me. Like now it's like, I don't care about nobody's damn feelings anymore. If you want me to be honest with you, if I hurt your feelings, oh well, nobody gave a rat's ass about mine. So, it has changed me because I don't care anymore, right? I don't care what people say. At one time I did, even though I acted like I didn't. I don't care anymore. I realize that these people are jealous, that when they start insulting me, it's because I've won an argument. And so I look at these things a lot differently than I once did, but changing it did. And I have to think that this hate and stuff has to be wearing on Seth. And if we did apply the fact that he might have a disability too, man, I'm never going to let these assholes live this stuff down. Not only did you rake a man that's innocent, that lost his son, but he's also disabled, and you didn't give a shit. And you had all the signs right there in front of you, and you still dragged him. That's a coward move. That's garbage. And shame on the creators that did it. And we still have several of them doing it right now. But this whole narrative driven from that statement last night to me was not about finding the truth. It was about trying to find information to drag Seth even more. An innocent man. Meanwhile, not barely even saying these two people's names right here. Barely saying anything about these two people. Man, they're the best people in the freaking world. Well, they got a kid missing. And somebody was standing inside their home at the dining room looking out the window, seeing if anybody saw anything after what appeared to be possibly breakers being kicked. Can somebody explain that? That's why I don't believe in abduction. It's not because it's not a plausible theory. It absolutely is a plausible theory. But the reason why Chris and Katie are fighting it so hard to make it not an abduction is because they did not want that criminal investigation. Why wouldn't they want a criminal investigation? If they know that their son wouldn't walk out of the house, why wouldn't they be screaming from the rooftop? They believe that there is a stranger danger. Why aren't they screaming from the rooftops that they believe somebody abducted their child? This child literally vaporized in his own bed. And mommy and daddy aren't even freaking out. Mommy and stepdaddy, I should say. Mommy and stepdaddy. So how am I supposed to believe an abduction theory when I don't believe the parents? And the parents are the ones adamant that it's not an abduction. And I kept thinking, why? This is their plan B. Why in the world would they want to be tanking their own plan B? And I kept thinking about it, I threw it out. And it was one of my subscribers. This is why I throw stuff out to you and why I welcome all these darn emails that I read. Like you guys see these bags? I wake up in the middle of the night. Like last night, I was jolted out of my sleep. And so I after I got up and checked everything, I couldn't go back to sleep. So I'm sitting there in bed and I'm still reading emails and responding to people at like 1 and 2 o'clock in the morning, right? This morning, if you guys received an email, but I'm constantly reading emails. I'm constantly reading your perspectives. And I got to say, everything is helping. It makes me think of things that I'm not thinking about. And this was one of those things where I'm not thinking about that they honestly needed law enforcement to believe he walked out of the house, because that would keep it a missing person case. As soon as they feel that there's foul play or there's an abduction, they go into criminal investigation, which brings in the forensics teams and everything else, which is what I believe that Chris and Katie are trying to avoid. Now, there's several things that I think are going on here. Like, some people believe that there's been abuses out there in the garage. I personally, I'm on the fence. I haven't found anything that really points me that direction. As a matter of fact, everything that we've been told has fallen flat on its face, to be honest with you, from the pressure cleaner to the mattress in the garage. It's all hasn't been founded. And so I truly believe that he was injured inside his bedroom or in the living room. That's just me personally. That's my personal area that I think that should be checked the heaviest. But I feel like his bedroom, because the light sources kept going on and off in his bedroom between 9 p.m. and 11:30, when the lights finally went off in his room for the very last time at 11:30. The camera from across the street could pick up an image moving across the house into the back where a light went off. And then right after that, the whole house went dark, like dark, she says, dark. And in the video, in the surveillance across the street, you can see a silhouette in the window. You can see a silhouette in the window looking out to see what's going on. And then after about a little while after that, you see, you see movements outside with flashlights. So I wonder if they've got images of flashlights being used inside the house that have not been released to us yet, or leaked to us, I should say. Because when that house went dark, I truly believe that's when they wanted to make sure that they could see out, but nobody could see in. That's the only reason why you black out your house. So I have questions. And then some beautiful person put me on to the Gray Hughes. There is absolutely, just to clarify this, an absolute love or a hate relationship between me and Gray Hughes. Me and Gray Hughes, since the day I've been on the street, he's been a completely pompous asshole that likes to treat and speak to women like shit. He's one of the very first people, the very first creators I've ever blocked on my channel. Well, no, I guess he wasn't the very first, but he was, after things settled down, he was one of the first creators that I blocked on. I've never spoken to this man. He has no reason to be nasty to me. Yet every time I turn around, if it's to pat himself on the back at the expense of someone else, he will do it. And so there is a hate relationship between me and Gray Hughes that I don't think will ever change. I think he's a pompous asshole. I think he thinks his shit don't stink. If you want my personal opinion, I'm just being real. That's my personal opinion. I don't like him. But I did like his work. And that's why you never see anything of Gray Hughes on my channel. But we'll throw this up. And I did give him a plug over that, but I did want to make sure I put my disclaimer on there because I can't stand him. Which reminds me, I forgot. I keep putting this here and I keep forgetting to talk about it. I had some people. We do have some pepper spray. Officially, we got some pepper spray here. This was, okay, gracious, I can't read these things. Little bits of baggage. Thank you, Little Bits of Baggage. She bought some pepper spray and some of our tabs that we need for our files. So we got some. This is probably what This is probably the real present, and this is probably the filler. We absolutely need these. Thank you, God bless. But these are office stuff. But you know I need this. This is protection stuff. This is we got some pepper spray. And look at that, it's teal. Look at that. She seems to know the channel colors. She seems to know the channel colors. So if anybody ever wants to know what color to get me, it's always safe to say if you use channel colors, it'll probably be a winter chicken dinner, right? So if all else fails, black, silver, or white, right? But if you can get teal or pink, that'll be a winter chicken dinner all day long. So this is really cool. So I officially have a pepper spray. So watch out, watch out. And look, I've been waiting for this because the one thing I hate more than anything in the world is traveling with my vitamins. My vitamin pill bottles are literally the size of an elephant, right? And so when I go on my trips, I want my my vitamins, but I don't want to bring the whole package. So this is one thing that I will absolutely 100% use. This is 10 days. This is almost 2 weeks of vitamins right here. So thank you, whoever got me. Oh, actually, I've got this one too. Who's this from? Oh, I think this is from Little Bits of Baggage as well. Thank you. Thank you, Little Bits. Thank you, Little Bits. God bless you. So, so now I don't have to bring those bulky pill bottles. I mean, look at this one. Hold on. I'll be right back. When I fly on planes, you know, let's put this in here. When I fly on planes, you gotta, conserve as much space as possible, right? I mean, this is just 2 of the vitamins. So like literally this now is going to go to this, just one little thing. Look at that. Perfect. Thank you. God bless you. That was perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. I love it. I love it. And it even, oh, look at that. It even has a little carrier for it. Oh, I love it. Empowering your journey to vitality. Oh, I love it. I love it. Thank you. And this is nice too. It's a nice little silky, like a satin, not satin, maybe, I don't know. It's like felty, satiny. It's really soft. It's really soft. I love it. Thank you. Thank you, Little Bits. So I just wanted to show you. I always want to say thank you to the people that support the channel in their number of ways. Their number of ways. So that was perfect. I love it. I love it. So we're going to watch this just real quick because one thing you're going to notice in this track is the fact that the dogs are actually following. I did clarify some things. Okay. I want to make sure that I'm as accurate as possible on this. And of course, we learned from the very beginning that there was no dog track at the front door. I'm hearing, and this is not making me feel any more comfortable, but I'm hearing that the dogs actually tracked from like the garage door around the house. The garage door around the house. So I don't know what that means. And it definitely was not from, it definitely was not, what is it? Who's, oh, I was like, wondering what, okay, I was gonna say don't encourage him. I should have known it was about VA. Do I have a smack? Do I have a slap? I can't remember. There it is. There you go, VA. I got you, Chaos. Don't worry. Come back for some more. I got him for you. I got him for you. But if you look at this path, this is the exact path that we had for the light sources, guys. It's bothering me. This right here is bothering me like literally to my core. I will be honest with you. I'm not lying about it. So here is the gray hues drawing. I want you guys to watch it. It's just a little, I don't know, not even a 30-second clip, but I want you guys to hear this because I think it's ultra important. As you see, Chris was adamant that it came out the front door. We absolutely know that this was not the front door. Okay? There was no dog hit at the front door, period. None. So Chris is lying. Again.
It scented Sebastian. And then the dog sent it around the house like this. And then back over here.
This is
where
where
it
the
came-
anonymous car was, right here. This is where the anonymous car is, right here. Right here. This is a ditch. There's nothing here. There's no houses. It's in an obscured spot. It should not be here. And it is here. This is where the car is. This is where the lights were that we saw in the Brett Barris video. The light source is coming out here. This is where all of this happened. This is the common area. This all happened on the back of the Proudfoot's home. It came to a car that just so happens to look like Kathy Bowersock's vehicle. Just happens to look like, I just lost my screen audio. Hold on a second. Let me make sure I got my audio right. There we go. I don't know why it does that. I don't know why it does that. Hopefully it doesn't screw with my internet. But there it is. And then when we take it down, the lights are almost a perfect match to the shadowing out at the scene. Boom, 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 boom. It hits all in right spots, right where the reflection would. We realize that the reason why there's a reflection on the back end of that is because the house over here, where is he? I got to put this in order. Hold on. Is this him? There's him. I put this over here by this one. Because this one right here had an on, like a stationary light that was on. So whatever glow from this house over here was beaming on the back of the car, which gave it this glow on the back end. And so we were able to impose the 2019 QX80, which is what Kathy Bowersock drives, and it hits those shadows just perfectly. So these are the reason why it's very hard for me to believe in an abduction theory. Not that I don't think one is probable. Not that I didn't think one was probable at the beginning. Not that I didn't look at that aspect, but I was looking at other details to see if that aspect held water. And now that we know about the light phenomenons inside the house, the light phenomenons on the outside of the house, the changing stories of Chris and Katie, their behavior, the fact that they ran away from home, the fact that they never searched, the fact that they never put posters up, the fact that they never done anything, the fact that they never appear to be grieving. All of these things are what is leading me to believe that it's almost next to impossible for this child to have been abducted or been lured out of the home. It's not that we didn't look at it. It's just that we're looking at the actual facts of the case and trying to apply them to see where it would fit, where this abduction or this coaching or coercing him out of the house would have transpired or happened. And we can't find it because he didn't have any friends. They've only been in this house for a year and a half. Nobody knew them. They don't have a lot of people to help them other than their family. So they have a small circle. We heard from neighbors. The neighbors said that the boy, that Sebastian, the boy, never goes outside of the house. They also basically state that Chris and Katie don't participate in community functions. Chris and Katie never have people over at the house. The only times they really see Chris and Katie outside of the house is when things, boil over from inside their house to the outside of their house. So we're looking at all of these and trying to apply them and put the pieces together. And while I appreciate the friend that came out and spoke, I feel, and I don't want to, I liked her statement. So I don't want you guys thinking I totally disagree with her or anything. I think she was very brave coming out. I hope people are very kind to her. I appreciate her statements and the fact that we did at least, see a different side of Katie. It was a side of Katie that hasn't been seen in many years, though, right? I just felt like her whole purpose there wasn't to really talk about Sebastian. It was really to throw shade on Seth. And again, I keep wondering why people are so constantly trying to throw shade on Seth when we know he had nothing to do with this. Meanwhile, the people that did aren't even hardly being talked about on these channels. It's very clear that they're trying to drive a narrative away from the implications of Chris and Katie, and it seems like a lot of people out there in the ether are falling hook, line, and sinker with it. I'm hoping that people take the blinders off and realize that these people, even the ones we thought were friendly, are actually catering and helping Chris and Katie, our friends on here that we used to associate with, are literally backing Katie and Chris because they won't focus on them. They're focusing on somebody that's innocent, somebody that's trying to find their son, somebody that might actually have his own disabilities, which would explain why he acts the way he does. And they're being nasty and mean to him. Guys, we have almost 751 people in the chat right now. If you guys could do me a favor and go out and hit the thumb up button, it should give you a number of your like. If you throw that number down here in chat, tell us where you're calling or where you're from, where you're calling from, where you're from, and tell us the temperature of your community. Right now, it's warm here in Florida, in Bradenton, Florida. It's a little hazy. It's been raining for the last few days. It looks like I might get some rain today, but for the most part, it looks sunny and overcast for me today. So let's follow this again. I'm gonna let it go through for all of my audience, and then we're gonna. I was planning on opening up the phones, but I'm still not ready to open up the phones yet. I'd like it to chill out just a little bit more, and then we'll. Oh, thank you, Jesse, and we'll open up the phones and let you guys talk. I think maybe tomorrow afternoon might be a good time when I have the patients to deal with if we get troll calls. It takes a mindset, folks. It takes a mindset, and my mind's not set.
Lane. And what time is
So I want to show you that. That's on roadway. If Sebastian was trying to get over there and he's already walked through grass from the backside of the house, you know, from the light source, if we were to believe it was Sebastian as opposed to anybody else, why didn't he just cut through, since he has no problem cutting through yards as is? Why didn't he just cut through the yards over to the construction site instead of taking the roadway? This is what is also helping me apply something there. It, to me, implies that it was a vehicle that stayed on the roadway, because a vehicle wouldn't be able to cut through the houses. And we heard from Miss Bobby that this car that was parked right here, one light source went to it, one light source went back to the house. You could clearly see the light source walking back to the house faintly in Nick Barris's interview, or Nick Barris's video. But this car here that was sitting on here backed up and then ended up proceeding down Keller and leaving the community. And it seems so convenient that this exact path is the exact path of the lights and subsequently the car that left the area. So we have to apply that here. This to me does not scream abduction or stranger danger because of the light phenomenons in the house and the fact that one light went back to the house. A light source walked back to the house. Let me find that for you guys so you guys can clearly see that happened. And I think it's right. We'll get right back to where it is, right here. So you guys can see it for yourself. I'm going to put it up on the big screen so you can see it full. So again, these are the reasons why it's making it very difficult for me to believe that this was a stranger danger or abduction. So just for Miss Harmony, I know you watched. Thank you. God bless you, by the way. And I appreciate your work too. I do. You do a lot of good work. If you guys haven't seen Miss Harmony, she's on Twitter. Please go over there and step her up. Her and I don't necessarily agree 100% of the time on 100% of these cases, but when we do, we do. When we don't, we don't. But I always appreciate her tenacity and finding the truth. She has a passion for the truth as well. So, that's all that's required over here, right? Is a passion for the truth. So I don't know what to make of this. I don't know what to make of the Friends interview. I felt like it was a little bit of damage control, if you ask me. I think it was there to try to help rock the narrative about this case. Again, we still haven't heard from Chris or Katie. I don't think we are going to. I think they know that their number's up. It's just a matter of time, as I explained to them. I did leave a voicemail message to Chris because he had some things to say, and this was about, I don't even know when this was. I can tell you the exact date because but I've never, and I'm this way with everybody. I wasn't disrespectful in the least. But I stand by what I say. I say what I say because I am who I am. If I believe something, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm not going to tell a father or somebody that I'm there. If I think that they're guilty of a crime or I'm questioning them because I think I'm letting them know that. I don't need I don't need to lie or be deceptive. They either want to talk to me or they don't. I don't need to change who I am or change my position for that, because at the end of the day, this is what I think. I give them all the opportunity in the world to change my mind. And if they don't want to change my mind or they're scared to change my mind, that's on them. I don't bite. At the end of the day, I'm here for the truth. I think I've proven myself time and time again that I'm truly here for the truth. I'm not here for the clicks and views. I'm not here for the anything other than that. Even with Summer Wells, when people tried to dog us, we were there for the truth. That's what we were there for. We've been fighting for that girl for the truth. And these animals, they keep pushing people away with their bullying and their intimidation. And you guys as an audience got to decide one day or another whether you want people out in the field or helping or you don't. Because I'm telling you, a lot of these hate channels are going to keep running the people that actually get off their ass and go out and help off these platforms. And so it's going to have to be up to the audience to decide whether or not you guys want real work or you want bitching and complaining all day. That's a choice that each of you guys have to make, not me. I'm one person. But I'm telling you, every time you guys come and start screaming at people out there in the field, you're making more and more people not want to help. And then you guys scream and complain about how nobody's out helping these families. It's because you trash everybody that does. It's getting old. It's not about money. It's not about clicks and views. It's about answers. This is how we get answers. If you don't like the process, stay the hell out of it. Honestly. But don't be complaining about it. Don't be complaining about it. So I want you guys to hear Miss Bobby. I know that you guys have already heard this, but I always want to come back to this because I'm adamant about this. We need to hear this. We need to understand that law enforcement has been deceiving us from the beginning. They have to. I don't want people being all butthurt that law enforcement is out here not giving us the right information. They cut us off because they don't want to lie to us. And they were getting into a place where they were going to have to they were going to have to tell us, which they already did. They've already tried to lie. And when they do that, all we do is prove them wrong, which is not what they want to happen, because that's obviously giving out the information they don't want to have out. We're allowed to give it out. There's no court order stopping us. This is the First Amendment. We are freedom of press. We divulge what we have when we can get it, unless it really goes to the integrity of the investigation, which this does go to the integrity of the investigation. The difference is law enforcement has already had this, and they've had it for months. They've had it for months. So now it's time for this to be presented. Oh, I didn't do it for you. Oh, no sound? Okay. Sorry about that. Give me just a second. I'm glad you told me that. Yeah, the audio gets a little hazy. Hold on. You know, sometimes the only time I can get it to fix. You guys hear that? No. Okay. All right. So then this is what I'll do. This is usually works. I did just lose audio. I'm getting kind of frustrated with it. There's not a whole lot I can do with it right at the moment. Okay. Let it do its thing. It seems like I'm running a little slow on here too, so I'll have to figure out what that's all about. Hopefully you guys can hear this one. Let me know if you can't, and I may have to refresh my system. That. Can you guys hear that? I'll wait until somebody responds. No, you guys still can't hear that? Okay, I'll be back. Hopefully you guys can hear me. I had to take my sound card off. I mean, I had to reboot it, boot it down and boot it back up. Can you guys hear this? Usually if that works, I got the rest of it. Oh, good gracious. Yes, we can hear. Okay, so let's try it again. This is the newest one I added, so I think it's going to drop my audio. I had to go and turn my sound card off and reboot it. So at least now I know I can just turn my sound card off and reboot it.
A little bit, you know, I mean, they're going through a lot too, whatever happened.
So that's the, yeah, I'm going to wait. Let me know, yes, I can hear video, or say yes, video, or Y-V. Let me know you guys can hear the video. I hate audio issues, especially on a live show. It sucks. I got to find something that's not going to keep dropping my audio. Good. Okay. Here it is.
I don't know. I don't understand. None of us understand. I'm not going to speculate. I will not do that. That is not my place.
No, leave that to me.
That's not my job.
Just leave it to me. I'll do it for you. Do it.
Thank you, guys.
Anything about a car?
I mean, a
car.
Oh yeah, well that was part of what I talked about on.
I haven't listened to it yet.
Okay, there was absolutely for sure, absolutely without a shadow of a doubt, it's on a neighbor's camera that there was a car on our road, on my road.
Right.
There was a car. I don't know anything about the car. I don't know. Nobody ever told me what it looked like or anything like that. But there was a car on my road around 3:30, 4 o'clock ish in the morning.
So 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning ish. That is key, because we need to find out that the clock was broken on this particular video. So it was stuck. Excuse me. It was stuck on 311, but she's saying, let's just go back to that and listen to exactly what 3 to 4 o'clock in the morning. I think
what
she
it
said.
looked like or anything like that, but there was a car on my road around 3:30, 4 o'clock ish.
3:30, 4 o'clock ish in the morning. 3:30, 4 o'clock ish in the morning. If it was 3:30 to 4 o'clock in the morning, y'all, then there's no way that Chris was in that car if he was inside his crane at 5:15. It takes him 3 hours and 30-something minutes. I believe that time of night he could floor it with without getting caught. But nobody would want to take that risk. So it would still take him about 3, even if he sped a little bit, it would probably take him still 3 hours and 15 minutes at best. There's no way he's going to get back there. So we have to take that into consideration. So this light, if Chris was there, then there's no way it could have happened between 3:30 and 4. If it's not there, if it was at that time, then there's no way Chris could have been there. So we have to apply that standard to this equation as well, because we definitely have information that he was at his work at 5:15 inside his crane. We also heard from and somebody said that the facility will be locked. Those in all fairness are assumptions unless we have somebody corroborate it. So what I can do is, verify the information when I get there. That's all I can do, is to find out what time those gates open, and if there are locked gates, and if so, what time they're locked up and what time they're unlocked. So that's really all we can do. But 3:34, if that's the correct time, then these light sources are not Christopher Proudfoot, in my opinion.
In the morning, it drove down my road. It turned right onto Stafford. It sat on Stafford for about 5 minutes or so. 2 flashlights came up to the car.
Oh God!
Walked across yards, and absolutely, without a doubt, it was 2 flashlights. The neighbor that has it on
Without a doubt,
confirmed, without a doubt, it was absolutely 2 flashlights. It was not, and I repeat, it was not. Do I need to do it again? It was not the trash truck.
I knew it wasn't.
Absolutely, without a doubt, not a trash truck.
I
The
told
neighbor that had the camera.
Here's the directions, and then we're gonna dovetail back to Gray Hughes. We did this last night, but I wanted to solidify for the people here this morning that may not have been up to watch that last night. You can always go back to my 8 o'clock live from last night to get the full breakdown of this case. I did break it down with the way I'm putting it together, the way from my purview. It's obviously a lot of information that was taken from a lot of different sources to compile, but I think it was laid out fairly as the best that I could personally lay it out for you guys.
Talked to me personally and said, I'm telling you right now, there was a car there. It pulled, it backed up, back onto Kellen, and then drove down Kellen to leave. She has it on camera.
So let's see what this says. Let's go back here. Right about there. I think I'm right at the right spot. So let's listen to what
came out. The dog came out on, I think it's called Kellen Lane. So it kind of came right in front of that same house.
So we have these lines here that's coming out here. We can source those lines. Those lines, that track is right here. Just for everybody to see where I'm going with all this. I want to make sure it's ultra clear why I'm where I'm at.
You see subject 1 with a light source in the lower right-hand corner. Then you see subject 2 briefly appear,
and this looks really kind of like this area right here, doesn't it? It looks kind of like that area right there, if you ask me, those light sources. So now we've got a legit dog track that is tracking the lights. was dropping. It was dropping again. My audio just dropped again. Default card. Okay, so we're back in business. Hopefully you guys can hear this. I don't know if you can. But again, we have these light sources here, right here. And they are in the same area that the dogs are tracking. And then the description of where the dogs went actually describes the path of the car that was saying on the side of the road, not an individual, because again, the camera that saw this figure in the front window should have seen Sebastian walking out the front door, which they did not. So Sebastian never left out the front door that evening. So no front door. FYI. No front door. So that's where we're at right now in this matter. I don't know what you guys think about it, but those are the reasons why I really have a problem with believing that this is a stranger abduction. This is the reason why I have a problem believing that Sebastian just walked out of the door. Hey, Crime Stories. It's nice to see you, my love. One of the reasons why we don't believe it is because Chris and Katie have stated over and over and over again that this child stays to himself. He stays in his home. He doesn't like going outside. He doesn't like dirt. He doesn't like getting his feet dirty. He doesn't like his hands dirty. He doesn't go swimming in ponds. He's a good swimmer, but he likes pools. He likes clean. He has problem with dirt and dirty, which is exactly what the outside is filled with. So and I also said if he walked out of the house without shoes, because of his hate for dirt, he would have stayed on hard surfaces. This path shows a clear walking through dirt, grass, and other stuff, almost trying to obscure their movements until they were obscured, like in a car. And then they had no problem being on a road. Because all the time until they get back to the car, they're in grassy areas, unobscured areas, making their way to a car. They're not taking a road and walking over to the car. They're cutting through behind houses where they don't believe cameras are going to be. A 15-year-old autistic boy is not thinking like this. This is something that a person that thinks normally is thinking like this, in my opinion. This is what I believe what changed law enforcement's tune about this case. I believe that this is what brought the DA out to the scene within 3 days. I believe this is why this case turned on its head. I think that this is why that they did the landfill search and then they started winding down efforts. At this point, I think they knew that this child was not going to be located in the immediate area, that this child was actually transported out of the immediate area. I think it was this information that made this possible. And I also think that because of this information, I think they got this video the next day. And when they saw that car there, I think this was the information that they needed in order to get that Amber Alert. And I think this is the car that they were able to use to actually acquire the necessary checks in the right boxes to have that Amber Alert. There was an unidentified vehicle. We found the unidentified vehicle. This is what was needed to have that Amber Alert. The Amber Alert was initiated at a little after noon on the 29th, or no, the 27th rather, the 27th, the very next day. One key note for everybody out here is this is one thing I have been able to confirm and corroborate. Chris Proudfoot had access to much of this footage before law enforcement did. Chris proactively started reaching out to the families that had cameras. And instead of informing law enforcement about these homes, he decided to go over there as the concerned stepfather to preview them himself. So he knew of these cameras. He knew of this stuff. They knew this. He knew that these light sources were flashlights. He came out and denied it because law enforcement was denying it, and it gave him an ability and an out. But law enforcement's allowed to lie. And it looks to me like they did lie to us for a good cause. For a good cause. But they lied to us. And again, it does come down to why we have to do our own independent research, something different and separated from law enforcement. We use them as a guide. We use their information as a guide to guide us through the process. And we take the factual information that we are allowed to have, and we try to make heads or tails of it. When it's not good enough, we dig a little deeper and try to find our own information that can be vetted and corroborated, and we present that. This is information, like with Gray Hughes, I know for a fact that this is what Chris told him. This is what Chris told him. And Chris also told us those light phenomenons on the outside were not flashlights, now that we know them, and now we can track them. And now we know that the dogs were tracking the light sources to a car, and it appears that they were tracking the car from that location over to the dump site, or not the dump site, the construction site and the dumpster. Somebody said, they sent me an email and said, I wonder if somebody washed their hands in the pond, in the retaining pond, to get their hands cleaned. And it was funny that they had said that, because when we were talking in our Mod Squad chat, we were talking about it. And that was the exact same thing I said. Maybe somebody washed their hands in it, because the dog literally jumped into the water. The officer said he has never seen his dog do that before. I have uncorroborated information. I'll have to ask, but we heard that the hat, we were told that the hat might have been one of the volunteers, but that came from an email from somebody I don't know. So I'll corroborate whether or not that Vivint hat was a searcher or not. And if it was a searcher, I'll try to, and even if I can't tell you, I'll try to find out which searcher it is, maybe corroborate it with them directly. Oh, I just wanted to tell you, I got the new Team Foul Play shirt. If you guys would like a Team Foul Play shirt, this is a shirt that Sonia has in stock right now. If you guys would like to be like Betty and wear your Team Foul Play proudly, it is official. I am wearing the official Team Foul Play shirt for this case. Chris and Katie have a lot of explaining to do. They've had a lot of explaining to do for a really, really, really long time. We've been hitting walls with some of these hate channels and just trying to get them off their stepped on stupid mentality, but some of them are just too stupid to help. So we'll keep it real here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Come on over here, share me around, pass this video around. Don't forget to like it. Don't forget to go out there and comment on it. And guys, please, 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 if you want to support Seth, please support Seth. Don't allow these people to intimidate you from helping a father that has lost his son and is seeking answers. And we can't even imagine what he's going through. This is a commitment. This is not a one-off thing. When we get a hold of these families, we help them from the beginning to the end. From the beginning to the end. We are still with Jen Santinello. We are still doing things for Jen Santinello a year later. We're still contributing to her and Nova Grace. This is our community. And we don't let people intimidate us or change who we are as people because they are not like us. We are here for the right reasons. We love these cases. We love these victims. We want to surround them with our love and our support from the beginning to the end. And Seth needs our support more than ever, especially with all these attacks he's getting that are unwarranted, unnecessary, and are quite appalling from where I sit. He's lost his son, he's innocent of the crime, and he might have his own disabilities. I find that repugnant, and I hope everybody else does as well. God bless you guys. If you guys want to support Seth, I will post his Cash App on my community tab for anybody and everybody that would like, we are a dollar will do campaign. If you guys know anything about me, it's all about a dollar will do. Crowdfunding is what we do. We never want anybody to be out. We want everybody to be able, if they want to contribute, they know their contribution. Every single penny is worth every single other penny. You're no different. So if you guys have $1, a dollar will do today. I'll get that posted up. Thank you for your love and support. We're going to continue to work this case, and we're going to continue to surround Seth and his team with our love and our support as we walk through this difficult process with him. This is a difficult process, folks. He needs to keep his strength. We need him to keep his strength. Okay? This is what I told Jennifer Santinello. I told her, you need to get some sleep. This is going to be very rough on you. This is going to get worse before it gets better. You need to be strong. And if you don't take care of yourself now, it will destroy you later. And that is the same advice I was able to provide to Seth. And so I am going to continue to work and advocate for him and his son's case. And we are going to continue to give him our love and our support where we can. So guys, God bless you. Don't forget to be fearless. If you see something, say something. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And until next time, please be safe. But more importantly, kind to one another. There's enough gunk out here. We see it each and every day. We don't need to be a part of it. God bless.
From the East Coast to the West Coast, we are everywhere true crime is. We are asking for the public's help. We are searching in the woods. We are doing what it takes here on the Bullhorn Betty channels to find answers to the most alarming cases we have been watching on the news. I can tell you personally that I have traveled this entire country seeking these answers and bringing that content right here to you here on the Bullhorn Betty channels and Bullhorn Betty Crime Stories. We are happy with the work that we've done. We brought many answers to the public, and we have defied mainstream media in our pursuit of the truth in these cases. We will continue to work. We will continue to fight for these victims, and we will continue to tell their stories here on my channels. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty brand of channels and the Coffee Club. Thank you for your love. Thank you for your support. And more importantly, thank you for allowing me to bring these victims' stories to each and every one of you, advocating for each of these victims. God bless you. God bless America. And more importantly, God bless our victims.